Thank you. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new session. Uh, Before we go to Mr. Saurabh, so one important thing is please make sure that you watch the program in YouTube live. This is going to be live until 6. If you are watching it in LinkedIn, please move to YouTube so that without it will make sure that you have uninterrupted streaming. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so now let us go to new session. Mr. Saurabh Shah, thank you very much, Saurabh ji, for joining the session today. We talk about HumAI leadership. Okay, so let me give a quick round of introduction. Saurabh Shah is a dynamic people and culture strategist and TEDx speaker with over 18 years of global experience in human capital strategy, organizational effectiveness, and leadership transformation. As a head of people operations at Crafton India, he drives high impact people solutions, change management, and culture building across hyper growth environments. A recognized HR thought leader and award winning professional. He actively mentors emerging talent and contributes to academic and industry. So thank you, Saurabh ji. Please take your presentation. Yeah.
Uh, Thank you, sir. It's indeed an honor and privilege to be presenting to this August gathering. And, I look forward for a mutually learning experience over the next 35 minutes, wherein I, intend to touch upon a subject which is extremely close to our heart and is part of our life uh, by or, with or without choice, which is basically, how do we look at the human machine workplace, which is obviously the present nature of work. I will not say it's future of work. It is the present nature of work. And how do we really redefine HR in the age of AI? Because HR is all about people, and the world around is all about AI. So how do we amalgamate? How do we integrate both of these aspects together to create a beautiful experience, a beautiful journey, which will be driven and which will be supported by AI leaders, who will be human, but supported by AI. That is what I intend to speak. I represent an organization, which is a global leader in game development and publishing, Crafton. We are a South Korea based company with close to 4,000 people across the globe. In India, we are the proud IP holders of PGMI, which is not only a game of the country, but we call it as the heartbeat of the country. It's the largest game, which we have offered to the fans in the country. Beyond that, we do a lot of work in the incubation space for gaming. We've done quite significant investments in the digital startup ecosystem, and we are also focused on building some products which will enable the digital ecosystem. So what I'm going to talk about in the next 30 minutes is going to be more about, how do we move from managing people to decoding algorithms so that, we can effectively enable leaders. I think gone are those days where it was all about managing people. I think now it is enabling, it is, ensuring that we create beautiful journeys for individuals so that they could flourish, they could grow, and they could make a difference for themselves and the ecosystem in general. Uh, while I continue, I hope my presentation is visible. Okay, I believe so. Okay, so this is that classic question. AI ready, or rather, I would say, to be or not to be, and that's the prompt which continues in my mind always. That should I be AI ready or should I not be? Because what's happening is technology can only amplify humanity or it can replace it. But the choice is of leadership. What does that mean? And I was attending a conference yesterday where one of the speakers very beautifully explained of what's happening today. And he mentioned that if we are no longer agile, we are going to be fragile. And that kind of has stayed with me. And then when I relate to it, that are we AI ready, and should we be AI ready or should we not be? I think the answer is that we have no choice, but we have to be part of this change which is already with us. And how do we go about this change is the choice of leadership. Just to give some numbers in perspective, and this data is already outdated because it's rapidly changing. So basically, we're not, as I said, right, it's no longer future of work. I think it is the present work. If you look at the global impact, we've got around 97 million new roles which have been created. We've got 60% of the jobs which are going to be impacted. And this is one of the classic questions which a lot of times I've been asked, that will AI replace or take away jobs? And to that, my very candid opinion is that yes, AI will replace your job if you want AI to replace your job. In very simple terms, AI definitely will not take away your job, but a human who understands how to use AI is definitely going to take away a job. And in the current scenario, more than 42% of the tasks are automated. If I look at from an India landscape, by 3030, by 2030, it is expected that 38 million jobs are going to be reshaped. The growth, in terms of the landscape of opportunities, there's a 38% increase in AI related roles, and 75% of routine tasks are assisted by AI. In my own organization, one of the classic example is of onboarding, where we took more than a day to onboard an employee into the system. Today, with the help of AI tools, we are able to achieve that within 13 seconds. It's 1 3 seconds. That's the amount of time and bandwidth which has been created because of use of a very small tool which has enabled us to be better in terms of creating that experience. So that's so again, this is a little more of should I be AI ready or should I not be? I think the numbers speak for itself, and we have no choice but to be ready and be part of it. And as I said, AI has already arrived. It's the way we work, which is already changing, and it is changing now. And again, these are some of more facts which we have in place. As I said, 38% year-on-year growth is happening in terms of the numbers, in terms of the hiring. We've got 75% of the routine tasks in HR, finance, and operations are now assisted or automated by AI, and these are all information sources which have been validated. It could be Economic Times, it could be World Economic Forum. So this is the landscape which again we got to be very much aware about. So what's changing for leaders, right? I mean, everybody's talking about change, but what's actually changing for leaders? From my perspective, yesterday's leaders were managing people. We were managing situations. We were managing challenges. The leaders today are managing systems that are that manage people. So there's a lot of data influx, there's a lot of information overload which is coming, and it is systems who are managing people to a very large extent when it comes to providing the data. What about the leaders for tomorrow? The leaders for tomorrow are going to be the ones who are going to interpret, who are going to question this data, who's going to look at how can the data be sliced and diced into meaningful information, and then how are we really going to humanize the algorithms? How are we going to make sure that we make it more real? And then that's what is going to change the landscape for tomorrow's leaders. So the people leadership, how is it changing? From my perspective, it's going to be a human machine collaboration. It's no longer either a human or a machine. It has to be a collaboration, and it has to be a collaboration like our two hands, right? If you join them together, then you're able to create a power. the power which is created when you're together is much more than what power you will create with your two hands separate. And that's how I look at people leadership. It's going to be a collaboration between humans and machine. While leaders have been predominantly taking decisions basis data and intuitions, I think data, intuitions, and empathy is also going to be a very crucial role when we look at aspects of how the thinking is changing. From a review standpoint, performance review standpoint, I think we are very fast moving to a continuous AI driven feedback mechanism, which is going to help us having real time information on the performance. How are we going to delegate? We're going to co-create with AI agents. So along with delegation of tasks to our team, I think we also will have to look at opportunities where we could delegate routine tasks to our AI chatbots and make them more powerful, so that the time which is basically saved can be then used for something which we are really good at, is basically further enhancing our human connection. I think it's fast moving from managing work to designing an experience. And I'd say this in a lot of instances, that our employees may forget what we do for them as perks, but they will never forget how did we make them feel through their journey. And this is all about creating or crafting that beautiful experience. Let's look at a case study where so this is a classic AI driven HR leadership, where AI flagged a top performer as an attrition risk. Manager just
Sir,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Actually, the presentation is not scrolling down, sir. Like it is not sharing. Yeah, exactly what you are saying. Correct, sir. Now it is.
Okay, I actually had asked if it is moving. uh,
No, no, now it is okay, sir.
okay, I think it's still not.
It is automatically. It is not moving, sir. You need to.
Okay, just one
Yeah.
sec. Is this moving now?
Yes, sir. Now it is in case study one.
Okay, uh, that's strange. Okay,
You want to
let
boom next? Next.
yeah,
It
just
is
one
not
sec.
changing, sir. Still, it is in case study one.
Okay, just give me a few seconds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring in the presentation through a different form.
Yes, please, sir. So once just do one thing, stop sharing, and you can share again the PPT, sir, so that you are able to. You just click on the stop sharing.
Okay, just one sec. Okay,
Yeah, now you can just share the screen, sir. Now,
I will try that.
yeah, 1 minute, sir. I'm just presenting you on the screen. Yeah, now you can change the screen, sir. Now, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
I
is
mean,
changed. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Let's look at this first case study. So this is a classic, leadership team which is supported by AI. The HR team is dependent on AI tool for flagging the attrition risk, and the AI flagged a top performer as an attrition risk. Manager just looked at the data, and then probably acted upon it without knowing the real reason of the attrition or potential attrition, and the employee quit, where the algorithm was right about the data, but then probably wrong about the reason, because in a very Hume AI scenario, a manager or a leader who would see this as a potential risk coming about an employee who is a top performer, if I was a leader in that position, I would actually walk up to that individual, have some conversations with the individual, try and understand the reasons behind it, and then probably get to a point of acting upon. So I think this is a classic case where it was just flagged by AI tool. The manager acted by doing probably peripheral aspects around why the employee is a potential attrition, and did not really act in parlance with the human aspect. And that's where the employee decided to move on, which could have been easily avoided. So my very simple lesson in that is, AI did show the pattern, but it will not show the purpose. I think as humans we need to decode the why behind any data which has been flashed. So I think that's one of the way where I say that it's extremely important to bring in the human element along with AI, so that we are able to carve out that collaboration between human and machine. So that was one case study which I had. What is this entire Hume AI leader framework? And this is something which I've put together from my own thoughts in terms of what does a Hume AI leader look like. So from my perspective, HI, that is human intelligence, is basically empathy, ethics, and context. So as humans, we have these three aspects very, very strongly ingrained in us. That is empathy, ethics. Ethics is basically doing things right when no one is watching, and context. Any of our actions, any of our reactions have a context behind it, and that is the power of human intelligence. Now, what is AI going to bring in? AI is going to bring in scale. It's going to bring in speed. It's going to bring in insight. I think where the logic can meet compassion is where we combine human intelligence with artificial intelligence and create a beautiful concept which is called as Hume AI leadership. It is a leadership which is an amalgamation of human aspects and artificial intelligence aspect to co-create journeys for individuals where they feel that they are enabled, where they feel that they are entrusted, where they feel that they can create that marvelous experience. This is the framework which I'm talking about, is the Hume AI leaders. Now, what from my perspective, I think there are 5 R's which are extremely important for Hume AI leaders. The presentation is moving, right? Yeah. The first R is, it's important that we reimagine. And here the casing point is, we have to start looking at AI as a team member. And one of the I was listening to one of my leaders, and something very, very profound and very straightforward one of our leaders said is that treat AI as a team member before it becomes your leader. So what basically it said is, understand the potential and the power of AI, and use your human side, use your brain to make sure that it becomes a team member which will enable you. That's how you have to reimagine your entire work dynamics. You have to reimagine the entire team structure, team dynamics, and start looking at AI as a team member. We have to reinvent our processes, reinvent our policies. We have to reinvent the way we look at training and learning as such. We have to look at AI fluency. So this year when we went to the campus, one of the important checks which we did was how comfortable are you using AI tools? How what's the ease level you have to create projects using different AI tools? And here I'm not talking only about Gen AI tools. I'm talking about the multitude of tools which are available for doing different aspects. Third is, how do we realign? How do we realign the culture and the code? How do we make sure that AI becomes an integral part of our day-to-day working? At the same time, it does not create the fear of losing job, and that's where a top-down and a bottom-up approach of making sure AI is integrated into our day-to-day working will become important. And I think one of the important aspect of human AI leaders is also to build this trust that the job security which an individual would have. I think it's important for the leaders to make sure that they re-emphasize that the job will only be redesigned, it will not be lost. And I think that is extremely important to create that trust, that bond between the employee and the employer. How are we going to realign? We will have to make sure that we invest in reskilling our people. And we will have to reskill, we have to realign the process, and we'll have to make sure that the entire algorithm is made in such a way that it enables the reskilling aspect. And the last and but the most important bit is reconnect. We have to make sure that the human bond, we have to make sure that we are able to reconnect this aspect. And this is more like a cyclic 5 hour aspects of human leaders, where it continues in a circular motion, where we reconnect and then again we reimagine, we reinvent, we realign and reskill. So if we are agile in this entire process, then I think we will be able to move ahead in this journey, and make sure that we are able to create the right set of leaders who will look at AI as an enabler. They will look at AI, which will basically, enable more opportunities. The leaders would be the ones who will create that AI fluency, which ultimately is part of the overall culture, the code of the organization. And then we look at how people process technology aligns to this rehauled culture and code of the organization, with the human bond being the only common factor between all these R's. So that's my perspective about which are the 5 R's which are extremely important from a AI leaders. So moving on, I continue talking about the human edge. And then and this is where gets all the more beautiful, right? Where AI can calculate the value, but I think if you remember the human intelligence, it is context. It is the context, it's the ethics, it's the clarity, it's the compassion, wherein the humans can create meaning to this value. And machines will continue to learn faster. If you look at your Gen AI tools, they continue to evolve every time you give it a prompt. And that's how fast they will learn and keep churning out outcomes. But I think as humans, we learn the why behind it. And that is where the leadership in the AI era, it's a combination of clarity and compassion. And that's how is the evolution which is going to happen in the leadership space. If you're able to bring that clarity, if you're able to bring that context, if you're able to bring that compassion, making sure that the human bond is retained, I think then we are already successful in this leadership journey in the AI era. And what is important is, how do we balance rational intelligence and emotional wisdom? And it's all about that data which is coming in from these AI systems. It is all about automating these processes, but making sure that the human element, the human touch, is not going away. A coffee conversation in the hallway is much more effective than having a chatbot conversation about what's working and what's not working. The body language, the reaction, the response, the behavior of the individual, the expressions, play a very crucial role, and that's what smart AI leaders would want to look at and be supported by data, is how I look at it. And that's why, I say that the most powerful leaders will not be the ones who will command machines. I think that's the most simplest part of it, that to command machines, you just need to know the algorithm, you need to know how to code that tool. But then, it's the leaders who will be able to humanize the technology and technologize the humanity. I think those are the ones who will be able to be successful as AI leaders, and that is where that human edge will continue to be there. So data will be provided, processes will be automated, work will get faster done. But I think the human element has to be retained throughout the journey, and that's how I look at basically the AI leadership. How So with this, right, how is the entire HR space changing for us? I think the traditional HR, was has been focused on policies. The shift is basically in the overall principles. The AI HR will shape the culture, bring in learning, bring in agility, and it's just not going to be a compliance, partner. The processes will evolve, humans to do what only human, it basically, it will create that bandwidth to enable humans to do what they can do the best, that is create, connect, and care. I think these three C's are very important. The processes should be able to create, should be able to connect, and should be able to take care. I think that's how the processes would look at. Moving from managing, I think the shift is going to be empowering. How do we make sure that the data is turned into empathy? From a hiring skill standpoint, I think agility, adaptability, attitude will be the levers in terms of how do we build teams that will evolve and just not perform. From a feedback standpoint, I think again, something which is very very important, and we touched upon it in our initial slide, is it's going to be feed forward. It's going to be constant feedback, and how we make sure that AI, listens better, but does not judge faster. It should just provide a mechanism to make a decision. It's moving from control to care, where we will have to make sure that the technology makes humans feel safe, and that's where I said we have to make sure that the trust element is paramount, and that is multiplied. And then, data, it should be at the, decisions which should be at the heart of it, where balance is there between logic and with compassion. And I think AI leaders will make HR the heartbeat of human machine workplace, which we touched upon in our initial slide. I think this is how the entire HR landscape is going to be rewired. It shifts from the policies to the data aspects. What are going to be the skills for the next gen leaders? And I'll just touch upon it. It's going to be storytelling, it's going to be literacy when it comes to AI, and then, it's going to be the artificial intelligence, so I always say this, as it's going to be intelligence of when to use artificial intelligence. I think that's how AI literacy is going to be evolved. Tech curiosity is extremely important. You cannot say that, I'm not tech savvy. You will have to be looking at different aspects of how do you kind of, make the systems more agile, more scalable. Empathetic decision making, again, is going to be one of the crucial elements. I cannot just be dependent on a policy or a process which is created using a tool. We'll have to look at, what are the decisions being made and what is the impact. We'll have to make sure that the ethical compass remains very steady, and that's supported by data points. Agility, adaptability, and attitude is something which I already touched upon. Uh, that kind of, brings me to the last slide of this conversation, where where I profoundly say this very very candidly, that we have to lead the algorithms, we have to lead the machines, but we should not become one, and that's paramount. Otherwise, the human behind the workplace is going to quickly vanish, and then what's going to be left is only policies and processes, the people element is going to be is going to be lost. AI can only amplify human biases if unchecked, and then that goes if you're using a Gen AI tool, and if you give it wrong prompts, it will continue to bank on those wrong prompts and create content and create aspects for you. So it can only amplify human bias. Uh, you have to make sure that the transparency is there in terms of implementation of any AI tools, because that's what is going to build trust and it's going to bring inclusion. Remember the top down and the bottom up approach in this. Empathy is going to be the new competitive advantage for all of us as AI leaders. People with high empathy, high emotional quotient, high empathy quotient will be able to make an advantage for themselves and for the organizations and for the teams they work for. We'll have to make sure that we embrace AI, we adapt to AI, but we have to make sure that the human element of us does not go away. I can look at all fancy presentations being made out of AI, but I have to be the one who should draw out inferences, draw out conclusions, and take decisions. Yesterday in the conference, our discussion was all about how do we move from collecting data, interpreting data, to taking decisions based on this data. And I think taking decisions is what, or taking actions is what is going to be important as we embrace AI. And they say that any data is of no use if it does not change behavior. So I think we have to look at how does the behavior gets changed for good. We have to continue shaping the future of work with intent, integrity, and imagination. And I say this always, that intent needs to be in the right place. If you've got the intent in the right place, if you've got your heart in the right place, if you've got mind working in the right direction, then your intent is automatically going to be creating a beautiful space where where humans and AI can coexist. And we have, as I said, right, we have to decode the algorithms. We do not become one of the algorithms, because it's going to be you AIs leaders who will ensure fairness is coded into this entire world of AI enablement. That's how I look at this entire space. uh, that kind of brings me to my last part of the presentation. That's my email ID, that's my LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to connect with all of you. And then, of course, if you have any questions, uh, I'm more than happy to take that up. It really depends on us as leaders. It depends on us as part of this ecosystem, whether we want to be a spectator and we still want to be under the assumption that AI will someday come, or we want to be a player and be part of it. Because if you ask me, if you're waiting for the right time has already arrived. Thank you so much for the opportunity to express my thoughts, express my views. I'm happy to take up questions if any.
Yep. So wonderful lecture, Saurabh ji. Thank you very much. I really like your final quote: "Lead the algorithm, don't become one." I note it down. Fantastic advice. I think you covered very nicely the human part in the whole ecosystem of AI. That is very important. So now, what is your advice for the organizations to embrace AI, especially the mid-tier? Because I know the large companies, they have dedicated people to work on it. The small companies, they will be lagging. It all depends on the how to take it forward. The mid-tier segment, which is very important, which is a huge part of it. What is your advice for them?
So I think a few things which I have. One is I would want to break the myth that you need large amount of funds to implement AI in your work. Within my organization, as we are evolving change within our own function, I can tell you that we have not even spent $100 to make a change in our processes. These have been free tools which are available for enterprise, which could be used, to automate our processes. So I think that is the first thing. I think we have to get away from this notion that it's going to get take a lot of money to implement AI tools. In looking at the nature, the scale of your organization, the impact you intend to create, there are tools which are available which could be used. That is one part of it. Second is, I think each of us as team members have to look at the functions, look at the processes which we manage, and start being emotionally detached to them. I think we have to stop having this fear that this is going to take away my job. I think it's important to stand outside of our roles and look at it. Can I do this better? Can I create an experience for my employees where my employees feel wow about it? And if that means automating the process which I handle, yeah, let's do it, because then I can spend that time which I
More time.
save to have conversation which a machine will not be able to have.
Melbourne.
So I think that's the second aspect of it. Third is, I think we have to start enjoying the outcomes which get created. One of my talent acquisition leaders last week, she created a dashboard using the data points and using AI tools, and she was fascinated with the entire outcome. She was like, I never knew that I could code and I could create such a beautiful outcome in terms of data being available at the click of a button. And sort of, guess what, I did not spend even a single dollar of the organization. So I think we have to enjoy that process. If we are able to enjoy that change, I think we'll be a part of it, and we will get furthermore excited to explore more things. I think that's how I look at the entire landscape when it comes to not only mid-size but any scale
In
organization.
this scale. I think that's a great point. I think you put it a very, very nice way. Detach to what you're doing and try to use AI to automate it yourself, because you are the one who knows the process very well. And then spend time in the conversations, engage the interface, the employee interface or a customer interface or whatever. So that's the where the value. Okay, so now it's like a 80-20. So you spend 80% on preparing and 20% on the interface. So instead of that, you spend 20% on the preparation, spend 80%. I think it's a huge value for any organization. Okay, so that's something great, Saurabh. Thank you very much. Very wonderful, wonderful insights. Okay, so any more advice from you to the executives in various departments, especially the top leaders, the mid tier and the entry, because the mindset is completely different. Okay, so what is your advice for level one, level two, level three managers or employees?
I think the 5 R's which I mentioned, we have to make sure we remember those, and your intent, uh, your clarity, and your ability to remember that it's the human AI world. It cannot be human and AI separate. It has to be a collaborative human AI world. I think we have to understand that our responsibility is to create an experience for our people. You can be a people leader, you can be a technical leader, you can be a finance leader. I think if we have the intent of creating experience for our people, for the ecosystem, for all the stakeholders, then I think we will be in a position to do the right things. And last but not the least, I think the compass, the ethics compass, should remain steady,
Student.
because that is only going to make or break you as a human being, and you as an organization. I think that's how I look at it, and that's what is my mantra. If you ask me, that the compass, the needle, should be able to guide you. We have to build our own constitution. We don't need anybody else to tell us what is right or wrong. The mirror should be right in front of us.
Fantastic, fantastic. Great insights, Mr. Saurabh. Thank you very
Thank you.
much for a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
lecture, and it's very interesting and insightful. So,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Saurabh Shah. Okay,
Thank you.
if you have any questions on AI or whatever the topic, human AI, very nicely presented, HumAI. Please feel free to reach out, Saurabh ji. and you can directly connect. And if you have any problem, just please let us know. We will directly make sure that your questions get answered. So thank you,
Thank you,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen. Thank you very much
Thank you,
for
everybody.
the session.
Bye.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you very much.